It sounds backwards, doesn't it? The more effort you put in, the more you try to show her that you care, that you're a good guy, respectful, attentive, emotionally available, the more she seems to lose interest. Meanwhile, the guy who doesn't chase her, doesn't prioritize her, and barely acknowledges her, he's the one she keeps running back to. This isn't just some internet cliché. It's a pattern that a lot of men have experienced firsthand, and it leaves them confused, frustrated, and wondering what they're doing wrong. The truth is, it's not always about being too nice or not being alpha enough. It goes deeper than that. It has to do with how women are wired to respond emotionally, psychologically, and even biologically. This video isn't about blaming women or labeling them. It's about understanding a real dynamic that plays out over and over again. See, when a man puts a woman on a pedestal, treats her like a prize he needs to earn, and makes her the center of his world, he flips a switch in her brain. Not the one that triggers attraction, but the one that starts seeing him as less of a challenge, less of a mystery, less magnetic. And whether she realizes it or not, that feeling kills the spark. It doesn't mean she wants to be mistreated. It means she's wired to respond to behavior that signals value, self-respect, and emotional independence. That's what triggers her instincts. Now, that might sound unfair. It might even make you angry. But the point here isn't to complain about it. It's to understand it and adjust how you move. Because once you see what's actually going on, everything starts to make sense. Welcome to the channel. If you're tired of second-guessing yourself and you want to understand how attraction really works, beyond all the noise, you're in the right place. Let's break this down piece by piece. 1. Why effort turns her off. When most guys like a girl, their first instinct is to show it. They text often, plan dates, give compliments, and go out of their way to prove they're a good catch. It feels like the logical thing to do. If you want someone, you make the effort, right? But here's where things quietly fall apart. Women don't lose interest because effort is bad. They lose interest when the effort feels unearned. When a man is too available or tries too hard without her doing much to deserve it, it sends a message he doesn't even realize he's sending. I don't believe I'm valuable enough for you to come to me, so I'm chasing you to win your approval. That kills attraction fast. Think about this. A guy meets a woman he's really into. She's attractive, has a great vibe, and he sees long-term potential. Within the first week, he's texting her every morning, planning 2 or 3 dates in advance, complimenting her constantly, and letting her know he's not talking to anyone else. From his perspective, he's just being genuine and intentional. But from her perspective, she barely knows him yet, and he's already acting like she's the center of his world. There's no mystery, no build-up, no room for her to even wonder how he feels, because he's already laid it all out there. Over time, that kind of energy starts to feel clingy or desperate. It feels like pressure. Instead of letting things unfold naturally, he's trying to secure a connection by force. And that need for reassurance, disguised as effort, becomes a turnoff. Women aren't drawn to men who need them. They're drawn to men who choose them, but don't chase them. The more a guy tries to prove himself, the more it feels like he doesn't see his own value. And if he doesn't see it, why should she? Effort only works when it's balanced, when it reflects mutual interest, when it comes after she's invested something too, whether that's time, energy, or emotional openness. When it's given too early or too intensely, it feels like something's off, like he's more into the idea of her than the actual connection they've built. And whether she realizes it consciously or not, her instinct is to pull away. Attraction needs space. It needs curiosity. When a guy floods the situation with too much attention, too soon, he shuts off the very thing that builds desire. That's not about playing games. It's about letting things grow naturally, without trying to control the outcome. Bottom line, chasing her hard right out of the gate doesn't show strength. It shows a lack of options. And in her mind, if you were the kind of man she should want, you wouldn't be working that hard to convince her. You'd be living your life and letting her come to you. 2. The chase isn't about you. A lot of guys take it personally when a woman pulls away during the early stages. They think it means they said something wrong, weren't attractive enough, or didn't try hard enough to win her over. But in reality, The way a woman behaves during the chase often has nothing to do with you. Women enjoy the chase, not because they want to play games, but because it gives them a chance to feel something. It's not really about you as a person. It's about how she feels when she's trying to figure you out, wondering what you're thinking, and slowly unlocking access to your world. That process builds excitement. It creates emotional investment. When she doesn't know exactly where she stands with you, she naturally pays more attention. She thinks about the last thing you said, checks her phone a little more often, and starts getting drawn into the unknown. That feeling of uncertainty isn't a bug. It's a feature. It's what triggers her interest on a deeper level. But when a guy removes all of that mystery up front, when he makes it too clear that he's all in from the start, he removes the chase. And when there's no chase, there's no emotional buildup. That doesn't mean you need to be cold or distant, but it does mean you have to stop trying to control how she feels. A woman's attraction grows when she feels something for herself, when she's not being told how she should feel, when she's not being pushed toward a relationship she hasn't fully chosen yet. Men who constantly check in, seek reassurance, or push for more attention usually don't realize they're making the connection all about them. They want to feel safe. They want to lock things in early. But that pressure kills her natural desire to pursue. The best way to flip this dynamic is to stop chasing and focus instead on being consistent, being centered, being a man with his own direction. Because when a woman sees that you're not trying to win her approval, it forces her to ask herself if she wants you, instead of just reacting to your attention. That's a completely different energy. Most women don't fall for the guy who tries the hardest. They fall for the guy who gives them space to fall on their own. If you remove yourself as the focus of the chase and stop trying to force the outcome, she gets to feel the chase in a way that actually works for both of you. So no, the chase isn't about you. It's about how she feels during the process. And when you stop interrupting that process with too much attention, things start to move in your favor without you even having to try so hard. 3. Attention is a turnoff when it's too easy. Most guys are taught to believe that giving a woman attention is how you win her over. You compliment her, respond quickly, like her posts, and make sure she knows you're interested. It feels respectful. It feels right. But what usually happens? The more you show up, the more she pulls back. That's not an accident. The problem isn't that you're giving her attention. It's that you're giving it without her earning it. When something is given too easily, too often, and without conditions, it starts to lose value. And women pick up on that, even if they don't say it directly. When you give your attention freely, especially early on, you're showing that you're available to her without requiring anything in return. She didn't have to invest in you. She didn't have to show real interest or effort. She just had to exist. And you showed up, ready to give. That signals low standards. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be cold or rude. It just means your attention should mean something. If you're always the first to message, always the one liking her stories, always available when she wants to talk, you're sending a loud message. You don't have to do anything. I'm already sold. And once she knows that, the dynamic shifts. She stops seeing your attention as exciting or special. It becomes background noise. Women are drawn to men who are selective with their time and energy. A man who doesn't give everyone his focus. A man who observes, waits, and only engages when there's genuine mutual interest. That's what signals value. When your attention is hard to get, not because you're pretending to be busy, but because you actually have things going on, it naturally makes her take notice. It shows that your time is limited, and being in your world is something she has to earn. That kind of attention matters. It's not about being distant just to look cool. It's about having a mindset that says, I don't give myself away for nothing. Because when a woman feels that, she doesn't take your presence for granted. She leans in. She starts giving you attention. And here's what most guys don't realize. Women enjoy the pursuit just as much as men do, when they're allowed to feel it. But if you never give her a chance to wonder about you, think about you, or miss you, then she never builds any real interest. So if you're pouring on the attention hoping she'll like you more, you're doing the opposite of what works. Pull back. Focus on your life. Make your time something valuable. Because the more you give your attention away for free, the less it's worth to her. 4. Validation kills attraction. It feels natural to give compliments. You like how she looks, you admire her energy, maybe you're impressed by her confidence, and you want her to know it. You think, if I tell her how amazing she is, she'll see I'm different from other guys. But here's what really happens. When you constantly validate a woman, telling her how beautiful she is, how lucky you feel to talk to her, how much better she is than anyone else, you're giving away your power. You're placing her above you. Whether you mean to or not, you're saying, you're special, and I hope I'm good enough for you. That kind of energy might feel nice at first, but it doesn't build attraction. It builds comfort. And too much comfort, too early, kills desire. When you validate her all the time, it tells her that you're already sold. You've already decided she's amazing before she's even shown you anything of real value. And that removes any sense of challenge or excitement. You're no longer a man with standards, you're just another fan. The more validation she gets from you, the less she needs to invest in you emotionally. She doesn't have to wonder how you feel or try to impress you or even think about what you might want in a woman. You've made it clear, you're already in. All she has to do is enjoy the attention. That's not how attraction works. Attraction needs tension. It needs curiosity. It grows when a woman feels the need to show up, to put in effort, to prove that she's not just attractive, but worth your attention. If she's already being praised for doing nothing, there's no motivation to go deeper. Validation becomes even more of a problem when it's one-sided. If she's not complimenting you back, if she's not showing appreciation in return, then all that praise starts to feel empty. It turns into noise, and eventually, it becomes annoying. Now, this doesn't mean you can never say something nice. It just means compliments should come from a place of strength, not need. You say it because you mean it, not because you're hoping to get a reaction. When your energy is grounded and confident, even a simple compliment lands differently. It's not validation, it's a statement, a choice. Men who don't rush to validate every woman they meet send a subtle message. I'm not impressed by surface-level beauty. I've seen it before. I'm looking for more. That message builds curiosity. It creates interest. It makes a woman wonder what would make him impressed. And that's when the dynamic flips. So instead of showering her with validation, hold your frame. Let her earn your interest. Speak from a place of confidence, not approval seeking. Because once you stop giving constant praise, she starts wanting to earn it. And that's when real attraction starts to grow. 5. She wants to earn you, not own you. It's easy to think that once you show a woman how interested you are, the rest will fall into place. You'll prove you're a good guy, she'll feel secure, and things will move forward naturally. But here's what most men overlook. Women don't want a man who gives himself away too quickly. They want to earn his attention, not own it from day one. When a man gives everything up front, his time, his focus, his commitment, it takes away the process that builds real desire. The process of wondering what he thinks, feeling the thrill of progress, and slowly discovering whether she's actually meeting his standards. That journey matters more than most guys realize. There was a guy who met a woman through mutual friends. From the start, he was all in. He called her daily, made himself available anytime she wanted to meet, brought her gifts, and even stopped seeing other people immediately. She didn't ask for any of that, but he thought showing how serious he was would win her over. At first, she seemed into it. She responded to the attention, accepted the gestures, and went along with it. But after a couple of weeks, she started pulling back. She didn't reply as quickly. She started canceling plans. Eventually, she told him she wasn't feeling a spark. What changed? Nothing about him changed, but everything about the dynamic did. She never had a chance to feel like she was earning him. She didn't have to put in effort, open up emotionally, or prove that she was on his level. He gave it all away for free, and it made him feel too available, too easy to have. Women are wired to be drawn to men who value themselves, a man who sees himself as the prize. That doesn't mean acting arrogant or playing hard to get. It just means you don't hand over your energy, attention, or commitment without seeing what she brings to the table. When a woman has to earn a man's attention, she becomes more invested in the outcome. She starts putting in effort, showing interest, and thinking about how she can hold his focus, not just how to enjoy it. That flips the script in a way that builds long-term attraction. If she feels like she owns you too early, like you're already emotionally locked in before she's done anything meaningful to deserve that place in your life, her respect for you drops. Not because she's mean or shallow, but because it removes the challenge, the tension, the curiosity that makes things exciting. Women respect what they work for. When they feel like they've earned your attention, it means more to them. It sticks. So instead of trying to prove yourself to her, step back and ask, is she proving herself to you? 6. Confidence isn't loud, it's unavailable. A lot of men think confidence is about being bold, outspoken, or the center of attention. They try to come off as dominant, overly charming, or overly certain, thinking that's what will impress women. But real confidence isn't about being loud. It's not about how much you talk, how you dress, or how many people you can impress. Real confidence is quiet, and it shows most in what you don't do. One of the clearest signs of confidence is being emotionally unavailable in the right way. Not cold, not distant, just not easily shaken. You're not rushing to prove yourself. You're not chasing validation. You're not overly concerned with how she feels every minute of the interaction. You're centered, steady, and focused on your own life. That calm energy speaks louder than anything you could say. When a man is truly confident, he doesn't need to announce it. He doesn't need to show off or try to win people over. His presence says enough. He doesn't make himself constantly available to women, not because he's playing games, but because his time is already full. He has goals, responsibilities, and a sense of direction that doesn't stop just because someone attractive shows up. That's what makes women notice him. He's not trying to prove he's worth something. He already knows he is. And that self-assurance changes how he moves. He doesn't over-explain himself. He doesn't overreact when someone pulls away. He doesn't panic when things are uncertain. Instead, he stays grounded, because he knows that whatever happens, he'll be fine. Women pick up on that. They're drawn to that stillness. It creates mystery, but more importantly, it creates respect. When a man isn't easily swayed by attention, emotions, or approval, it shows strength. Not just physical or social strength, but emotional strength. That's rare, and it stands out. Confidence also shows up in how you handle space. If she takes a while to respond, you don't chase. If plans fall through, you move on with your day. You're not reactive. You're not waiting around for her to make your life interesting. That energy of "I'm good either way" is powerful, because it's real. And women feel that. The mistake most men make is thinking they have to perform to be seen. But the men who attract the most respect don't perform. They don't chase. They don't try to impress. They simply live with purpose and let people come to them. That's what makes you stand out. So if you want to come across as confident, don't fake it by being louder or flashier. Be unavailable in the right way. Let your actions speak. Let your silence carry weight. And stop feeling the need to constantly be on. The man who doesn't need to be noticed usually gets noticed the most. 7. The more you care, the less she feels. This one hits hard, but it needs to be said. When a man starts caring too much, too soon, especially in the early stages of getting to know a woman, it usually backfires. Not because caring is wrong, but because it's not balanced. You start giving too much of yourself before she's earned that level of emotional investment, and she starts feeling less. Not because she's cold, not because she's playing games, but because attraction doesn't grow under pressure. It grows through space, mystery, and emotional tension. When you care more than she does, and you show it constantly, she doesn't feel excitement or connection. She feels smothered. A lot of guys fall into this trap without even realizing it. You meet a woman you really like, and right away, you make her the center of your focus. You start thinking about her constantly. You rearrange your schedule for her. You're always available. And you start imagining where things could go before anything has even happened. Your feelings move faster than the reality. And in doing that, you forget something important. She hasn't chosen you yet. You're giving your energy away based on potential, not results. You're committing emotionally before she's truly earned that position in your life. That's not loyalty. That's desperation in disguise, and women can feel it. If she senses that your emotions are too far ahead of hers, it creates pressure. That pressure doesn't draw her closer, it pushes her away. It makes her question why you're so quick to care. It makes her think you don't have other options. And it makes her feel like she can relax, because you're already doing all the work for both of you. This is where you need to wake up. If you're always the one chasing, always the one texting first, always the one showing emotional interest without getting it back, that's on you. It's not about being a victim, it's about realizing you're giving away something valuable without making her earn it. And the more you do that, the less she feels anything real in return. You need to pull that energy back. Not in a cold or bitter way, but in a self-respecting way. Start paying attention to how much effort you're putting in compared to what you're getting back. If it's one-sided, you need to stop rewarding it. Let her feel the gap. Let her notice your absence. That's when she starts to reflect. That's when she starts feeling something again. Caring is good. Being kind is good. But giving your full heart to someone who's only giving you breadcrumbs? That's how you lose yourself and kill attraction in the process. So be honest with yourself. Are you giving too much too early? Are you caring more than she does? If the answer is yes, it's time to stop trying to prove yourself and start pulling your energy where it actually gets returned. That's not a loss, that's power.